Today I'm going to read an essay for you. And this essay had me thinking because I had to go back to remember what my passions were, how my passion has evolved over time, and where I currently am as a person, and you know, what the future holds and all of that. So I'm just going to read it for you. Please pay keen attention. This is so beautiful, not just because I wrote it, but it's really beautiful. The title is Crafting My Own Path. I remember one other essay I wrote one time about being unconventional, not wanting to do everything everyone else is doing, wanting to stand out, and trying to get your parents to understand that I really want to follow my passion. I just want to do great things and just do big things. Yeah. Sometimes passions can be costly. And if you are multi-talented, it's kind of hard to know which passion to follow. Should I chase one at a time or should I just do everything at once? And then in wanting to do everything at once, there's also that I don't think I can hit it, all these things. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to do things half-heartedly. This would really bless you if you find yourself in that place where you are becoming, you're trying to know what to do with your life, you're trying to move on and become the best that you should definitely be. Because God is really writing beautiful stories with all of our lives. I mean, I'm talking as someone who is also in that place where I am becoming. God is writing beautiful stories out of our lives. We just have to trust the process and trust the writer, you know. All right, so let's listen. More often than not, like me, you're possibly plagued with this question. At the end of my life, what will I be known for and what would I have achieved? At the crux of this question is the thought of what the destination is, the journey in between and your present situation. There is no denial that you wonder if you should play it safe and walk in the paths crafted already by society, your parents or past dreams and visions. Yet, you cannot shake off the feeling that you can take a leap of faith towards a dream and projects bigger than yourself and what anyone else has achieved. As a little girl, I watched women like late Mrs. Dora Akunyili, Mrs. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Michelle Obama, and many other women worked tirelessly to become who they were known to be. Amazingly, many of them are still pushing and setting the pace for the younger generations of visionary women. However, it is no news that these women, as much as they put in the work and had set down goals and visions, had many factors that played a critical role in their becoming. First and foremost, they knew who they were. They were not confused as to the principles governing their lives, passions, goals, their likes and dislikes, their destined destination, their strengths and weaknesses. It is sufficient to say that they were self-aware and had undergone a process of self-discovery and independence. This process of self-discovery and independence had been no small feat. As an African woman, I can say I understand the unannounced and unimaginable battles they fought mentally, socially, environmentally, and educationally. As much as there is more freedom in today's age and time for a woman to pursue her dreams, the psychological insights have not changed much. In many African countries, a limit has been set on women's aspirations by chains of patriarchy. I recently saw a quote that read, "A woman's purpose is to help her husband achieve his goals and visions," and it struck a chord. Should a woman be relegated only to become the support her husband needs to achieve his goals and visions, or could this be at play both ways? Unavoidably so. The former has been in existence from the day many women took their first breath on earth, watching the lights dim out of their mothers' eyes, eyes that were once full of dreams unimaginable and yet very possible to achieve. Does this mean that if a woman's dream and vision is to focus on her family and nurture its growth and success, then the woman is dull? Absolutely not. Does this mean that a woman whose goal and vision is to have a family and also be able to impact the world by her handiwork is ambitious? Absolutely not. Does this mean that a woman who decides to focus alone on her work for a time without the thought of nurturing a family is overambitious? Absolutely not. Yet you cannot deny that each category has a large percentage of people trying to enforce itself on the other. A woman, a man with a womb, only nurtures the seed she has at hand. Her seed could be more than the seed of the next woman, and she can produce as much fruit as she possibly desires. However, she needs to know what she wants, what she dreams of without having external influences imposing themselves on her. Should she be open to advice? That is necessary. Inadvertently, there is need for her to have space to receive a photosynthesized light, to become all that she could possibly be, to push beyond the safety net, spread her wings, and soar high into destiny. As a child, my dream was to become a gynecologist, become the chief medical officer of my high profile hospital that has a heliport for emergencies and transportation at the age of 27. I can hear you wondering what happened to that dream. Without doubt, that was a beautiful dream. How did I come about it? I grew up watching my mother nurse pregnant women during labor. Years later, when I started seeing my monthly cycle, it was such a painful experience, and I was determined to find solutions to help other girls like me. The crux was when I read a magazine about a woman who achieved something similar at the age of 27. She was a doctor and she owned a hospital at the age of 27. This was my propeller. This was what fueled my dream. It showed me that it was possible to become what I dreamt of and more. So it is safe to say I was influenced by my environment, my personal experience, and what I consumed. In fairness, that was the passion I could relate to it at the time. So what happened? Why did my dream change? A lot of things played an integral role in this. I have undergone seasons of my life where my thought patterns, perspectives, lifestyles, etc., changed and underwent several processes of transformation. What influenced that change could have been a good or bad experience, but it achieved its one purpose. I discovered who I am. It affected the cycle I kept. It affected the food I consumed, the way I spoke, and in summary, the things I naturally did. When all these changes have occurred and I have undergone self discovery, the independence I require as a basic need finally becomes an obstacle. There is a societal belief that financial freedom is easily accessible and achievable when you choose certain popular career paths. Traditionally, as a young woman, if I decide to become a music artist in comparison to being a doctor, a nurse, or a lawyer, I'll be considered foolish. Despite the changes I must have undergone to discover my passions and purpose, it does not matter. You can be who you want to be, but there is a hidden clause. Don't choose to be what won't pay you a lot of money. Be passionate, but be wise. The world does not care about your passion, and rightly so. The world doesn't care, and many times, neither does your friends and family. However, I have discovered that if you do one thing diligently and excellently enough, you would reap the fruits of your labor graced in success. The fear of survival is a big discouragement of many dreams and visions. The fear of doing something bigger than oneself, refusing to play it safe and walk into the unknown is a big crusher of dreams. An even bigger fear would be the fear of failure. What if it doesn't work out? What if in the end I have nothing to show for it? You will agree that many of these fears were not ours to begin with. We were born with a faith larger than life. In the same way that there are principles governing every aspect of life, there is need for us to see the right principles that we would need to push through the norm and the generally accepted into all we perceived possible for our life. I can be anything I want to be, but the power essentially lies in my hands. It lies in my ability to shut my senses to the external forces acting upon my life and dig deep into the depths of my heart as I unravel the beauty within. No precious stone is ever found on the surface. It is always deep in the earth's depth, and it takes patience and focus to obtain one. It may be found in its raw form, but when time, process, and hard work act on it, it goes through the process of being refined. It comes out shiny, attractive, and becomes what everyone wants. I can make the choice to settle for the mediocre and become what every other person wants me to become. Or I can take the reins of my life and journey the story I must have found written in time about me, hidden deep within me. I know a generation of women after me are waiting for me to take the step out in courage and walk in that path uniquely mine, and a thousand and one generation of women before me are cheering me on because they walked the same path. My legacy is dependent on this simple knowledge. The choices I make will play a huge impact on my life. So I will do myself a favor. All it takes is to start believing in me. I know. This is the first time I'm literally reading this out loud. And I can tell you, I felt a surge of energy like flow back into me reading the words I wrote concerning my own parts, concerning what is achievable, what we can do as not just women. I know generally I was, talking about myself as a woman, but it affects every single person, be you a man, a woman. There is so much that we can do. You know, the last part of this essay says, my legacy is dependent on this simple knowledge. The choices we make will play a huge impact in our lives. So, what choice are you making today? Are you deciding to remain small or to shake yourself? Shake that cold off, shake the dust off, pick yourself up and get up. Get up, man, get up, baby. There's a lot we can do. There's a lot. Oh my god. I'm so mesmerized by what I wrote. I mean, I know I'm a beautiful writer, but my God, reading this again, this is like UN quality. Yes, I know, but this is so good, so UN quality. So I want you can go back, play the game, and just think about it. What can I do? What can I do differently than I am doing now? What is that one vision that wakes me up, in the night or wakes me up in the morning and gets me going? What is that one thing that I know to do? What is that one thing? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't follow the money. Of course, we need money to survive and all of those things. But have you thought of the fact that if you do something so excellently, anything that is worthwhile, you don't get the results immediately, because just like a tree that needs to bear bountiful fruits, it needs to find roots deep down, and it might take you a few years to get it going. But the thing in all of this is consistency. Consistent in that one thing that you know to do. Be consistent in it. Do it again and again. It is in doing it that you become more excellent in it. If you're afraid of failure, It's just going to cripple you, and you're not going to do anything. And you'll find yourself being the almost girl or the almost guy. You'll be like, I almost had success, or this thing that this person is doing, I almost did it. But because you didn't do it, nobody knows. Another person is doing it. There's nothing new under the sun. So you just have to be uniquely you. You just have to be yourself. You just have to do things that you need to do at the right time. So, my guys and my ladies, go put yourself to work. Put yourself to knowledge. Put yourself to work. Be consistent in that thing that you're doing and see your life do a 360 degrees. It is only the person that is doing something that can be before kings. If you're not doing anything, no one is going to call you. Let's take David as an example. David was called to be before Saul because he could play a musical instrument that could drive the evil spirit from Saul. Imagine if David didn't know how to play any musical instruments. He wouldn't be called, he wouldn't be summoned before Saul. So get your hands to the plow and see your life transform and become all that God has for you. That's all for today. Till next time, doing great things right here in this channel, and I want you to be a part of it.